Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Silvia, and what I like to do here is sharing my most favorite patterns with you. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful dress for toddlers. I have been lucky enough to be contacted by Peony Patterns. They asked me if I was interested in trying one of their patterns from the website, and of course I said yes. Out of all of the selection available on their website, I picked this one for a few reasons. The first thing that caught my eye were these tie straps, which I find really cute. And another part that I really liked was the elasticated back, which I think is a very adorable detail for a girl dress. Available in this pattern, there are also different options for the skirt. You could go really long or really short like I have done, and you also have the option of choosing one or two tiers like I have done. As fabric, I have used this triple layered muslin fabric. It's really bouncy and soft, and I went for a bottle green color, which I thought it was perfect for summer days. I will put all the links down below in the description box, so if you want to take a look, you will be able to. If you like this type of content, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. That will really mean a lot to me. So let's get ready! For this pattern we'll need 2 front pieces, 1 main fabric and 1 lining, 4 back bodice pieces as 2 mirror image sets, 2 main fabric, 2 lining, 2 elastic case panels, 1 main and 1 lining, and 8 tie strap pieces, 2 top tier skirt pieces, and 4 bottom tier skirt pieces. We'll also need 3 elastic pieces that are 1 cm wide. Start by placing the 2 elastic casing panels on top of each other, right sides facing. Pin in place and sew at one end. Trim the seam allowance to 6 mm and turn it right side out. Baste the 2 layers together at the opposite side to keep them in place using a 1 cm seam allowance. Starting from the folded edge, measure and draw the guidelines to create the casing for the elastics. For the size I'm making, I will need to mark 5 lines, 1.3 cm apart from each other. Once that's done, sew over the guidelines created, backstitching at the beginning and the end. Grab the 3 elastic pieces and start pulling them in the casing with a safety pin. Once one end of the elastic has reached the edge, sew it in place so it's possible to pull it all the way to the other end. Do the same again at the opposite end and sew it in place. Repeat for the other remaining elastic pieces. Remember to leave an empty casing between each row. Oh, and that's Flocky. He is my huge ragdoll cat. He always tries to drink my chamomile, and he also wants to give me unsolicited advice on my sewing skills. He is basically the supervisor, the master supervisor of whatever is happening in our house. So that's the final elastic casing. It looks really cute already. We can now put it on the side. Moving on to the bodice, align the short edge of the straps to the shoulder edge of the bodice, right sides together, and sew it in place. The same process needs to be repeated for all the lining pieces and for the back bodice as well. Press the seams open and place the front bodice main and lining pieces on top of each other, right sides together. Pin in place from the armhole all the way to the end of the straps and sew in place. Trim the seam allowance down to 6 mm. For this, I'm using pinking shears, but it's definitely not an essential thing and standard scissors will do just fine. To reduce the bulk at the tip of the straps, you can taper each side of the angled point to around 3 mm, being careful not to cut through the stitches. Clip the tip of the straps and all the curved edges. Turn the front bodice right side out, using a turning tool if you have one available. I didn't have one, and I have to say it took me a lot of patience to turn the straps inside out. I surely have all the intentions to buy a turning tool as soon as I can now, as it could have saved me so much time. Next, place the elastic casing panel on top of one of the main back bodice pieces, right sides together. Match the top corner of the elastic casing panel with the marking of the bodice and pin together. Baste it in place using a 1 cm seam allowance, keeping the back of the bodice on top and making sure to keep the edge of the elastic panel as straight as possible, as this will be pulled away by the elastics. Fold in half the elastic casing so it's being kept out of the way for the next step. Place on top of it one of the back bodice lining pieces, right sides together. Sew around the center back, the tie strap and the neckline. Sew this bit slowly again to make sure the casing panel is not caught in the stitches. Trim the seam allowance and clip tie straps and curved edges. Turn it inside out as done previously. Place the elastic case panel on top of the last main back bodice piece, right sides together, aligning it to the marking on the back bodice. Baste it together with a 1 cm seam allowance. Fold down the strap and roll the elastic case onto itself, so it's out of the way. Place the remaining lining back piece on top of the main, right sides together, and pin in place. Sew around the center back, the tie strap and neckline, making sure not to catch the casing panel in the middle. For one last time, trim the seam allowance and clip the tie straps and curved edges. Turn it inside out as done before. Now take the front bodice and separate the main fabric from the lining. Do the same for the back bodice piece. As I have used the same fabric for the lining as well, I'm writing down with a marking pen which part I'm considering the lining and which one is considered the main, so it will be easier to match them correctly. Place the corresponding back bodice piece on top of the front bodice, right sides together. Align the raw edge, pin together and sew it in place. Press the seams open and turn it right side out. Baste in place the bottom row edge with a 1 cm seam allowance, avoiding the elastic case panel. Place the front and back top tier skirt pieces on top of each other, right sides together. Pin and sew them in place. Press the seams open and do the same for the bottom tier skirt pieces. This time though there will be 4 pieces in total, so it will be a much longer piece. Finish the bottom row edge with an overlocker or using a zigzag stitch. For hemming, fold the raw edge 6 mm twice and edge stitch in place. Mark the center points of the top tier piece so it's divided in 4. Sew 2 rows of gathering stitches along the raw edge of the bottom tier piece and start gathering it until it's the same length as the top tier. It's easier to start pinning the 4 matching center points and carrying on with the parts in between little by little. Sew together and finish the raw edge with an overlocker or a zigzag stitch. I like keeping the gathered layer on top, so I can keep adjusting it as I go along, so the gathers in this way are evenly distributed. Move on to marking the center points of the bodice, so it's ready for the next step. Then start gathering the top tier skirt piece as done before, pulling the gathering threads until it reaches the same length as the bodice. Place the bodice inside the top tier piece, right sides together. Firstly, match the center and side points and then move on to pinning the rest of the raw edge, little by little. Sew together and finish the raw edge with an overlocker or a zigzag stitch. And voila, your Juniper dress is finished! I just love how it turned out. It's so bouncy and cute that I can't get over it. So that's it for today. If you like the video, don't forget to like it before you leave, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching!